Breaking news, emotional Taekook. Moment, unexpected. Visit to J-Hope's grandmother's funeral leaves ARMY in tears. The global fandom is once again shaken by deeply emotional news. After completing their schedule in Tokyo, two BTS members, Kim Taehyung and Jungkook, reportedly flew straight back to South Korea not for rest, but for something far more meaningful. Something that has touched millions of fans around the world. They came for Young Hoseok, a sudden loss that changed everything. Just hours after their grand concert in Tokyo ended, heartbreaking news arrived. J-Hope's beloved grandmother, known to be one of the most important emotional pillars in his life, had passed away. For longtime ARMY, this wasn't just ordinary news. J-Hope had often spoken about her in interviews, how she helped raise him, how she supported his dreams long before the world knew the name BTS. Fans immediately recalled those moments where J-Hope spoke about his family with bright, shining eyes. And now that light seemed dimmed. Taekook's immediate decision? According to internal sources, the moment Taehyung and Jungkook heard the news, they didn't hesitate. No delays, no second thoughts. They arranged a flight back home immediately. There was no official announcement, no media spotlight, just two friends, determined to be there for someone they love. The flight from Tokyo to Seoul, usually short and routine, felt different this time. Witnesses say Taehyung spent most of the journey quietly looking out the window, while Jungkook sat in silence, occasionally lowering his head, overwhelmed with emotion. A heartbreaking moment at the funeral. That day, the sky over Seoul was gray and heavy. The funeral site was filled with silence, family, members and close acquaintances, gathered in mourning. And at the center of it all stood J-Hope, dressed in simple black, his face carried a way unfamiliar to fans who knew him as the group's brightest energy. His eyes were swollen, yet he still tried to greet people with a faint smile. Then a car arrived. Taehyung and Jungkook stepped out. No dramatic entrance. No loud reactions. Just a look filled with understanding. Seconds later, Jungkook walked toward J-Hope, and without saying a word, pulled him into a tight embrace. That was the moment everything broke. J-Hope, who had been holding everything in, finally cried. Taehyung followed, placing a hand on his shoulder before wrapping both of them in a quiet, steady hug. Three global superstars, now simply three human beings sharing grief. Grief shared together. Witnesses said Taehyung and Jungkook stayed close to J-Hope throughout the entire ceremony. They walked beside him, sat next to him, and even after many had left, they remained. Taehyung was seen speaking softly at times, offering comfort in words only the three of them could truly understand. Jungkook, on the other hand, stayed mostly silent, but his presence spoke louder than anything else. One moment in particular left everyone deeply moved. As J-Hope stood in front of his grandmother's resting place, quietly bowing his head, Jungkook gently reached for his hand. And Taehyung stood on the other side, making sure he wasn't alone. Words that carried strength. A source close to them shared that Taehyung softly said, "You didn't lose her. She just moved to a place where she can watch you more closely." Jungkook added in a low voice, "Hyung, you always said she was proud of you." She still is. Simple words, but in that moment, they meant everything. ARMY's emotional response worldwide. As news of this moment spread, social media was instantly flooded with emotional reactions from fans around the globe. Hashtags like #StayStrongJHope, #TaekookWithJope, #BTSFamily quickly began trending worldwide. Many fans expressed that this moment revealed the true essence of BTS. Not just global idols, but a real family. One viral comment read, "This isn't about fame. It's about love." Taekook didn't come as stars, they came as brothers, more than just a group. Since their debut under Big Hit Entertainment, BTS has always been known for their strong bond. But this moment once again proved that their connection goes far beyond being colleagues. They are each other's home, in joy and in sorrow. A quiet night of memories. After the ceremony ended and most people had left, reports say Taehyung and Jungkook. And J-Hope stayed behind for a while longer. No cameras, no fans, just three friends and memories. They sat together, sharing stories about the past, about family, and about J-Hope's grandmother. At times, soft laughter broke through the tears, a reminder that even in grief, love still remains. The meaning behind it all. This visit may never have been meant for the public to know. And perhaps that's what makes it so powerful. This wasn't about image. It was about sincerity. Taehyung and Jungkook didn't have to be there. They could have chosen to rest after their exhausting Tokyo schedule, but they chose to show up, and that choice says everything. As evening slowly fell over Seoul, the atmosphere around the funeral grew even quieter. Most visitors had already left, leaving behind only close family, and two figures who refused to walk away. Kim Taehyung and Chun Jungkook stayed, not because anyone asked them to, but because they knew Yoon Hoseok needed them. A silence that spoke volumes. The three of them sat together in a small resting area near the memorial site. No managers, no cameras, no staff guiding their next move, just silence. A silence heavy with emotions that didn't need to be explained. J-Hope leaned forward, his hands clasped tightly, eyes fixed on the ground. The weight of loss was still settling in like waves that kept coming, one after another. Taehyung sat beside him, occasionally glancing over as if silently checking. "Are you okay?" Jungkook sat across from them, elbows on his knees, fingers intertwined. His usually bright eyes now carried a quiet intensity, like he was holding back words he couldn't quite say. Minutes passed. Then J-Hope finally spoke. "She used to wait for me. Every time I came home." His voice trembled. "Even when I was late, she never slept first." The words hung in the air. Taehyung lowered his head slightly. Jungkook closed his eyes for a moment, because they both understood this wasn't just a memory. It was a goodbye. Memories that refused to fade. J-Hope continued, almost as if he was talking to himself. "When I debuted, she told everyone in the neighborhood that her grandson was on TV. A faint smile appeared, but it didn't last. I thought I had more time." That sentence broke something. Taehyung gently reached out, placing his hand on J-Hope's back, slowly rubbing it in a comforting motion. Jungkook leaned forward, his voice soft but steady. "Hyung, she saw everything. She saw you become who you are." J-Hope didn't respond immediately, but his shoulders shook. The moment that changed everything. Suddenly, J-Hope stood up and walked back toward the burial site. Without hesitation, Taehyung and Jungkook followed. The night air had turned cold, and a soft wind passed through, carrying with it an unexplainable stillness. J-Hope stood in front of the grave again. This time, no crowd, no expectations. Just him. And then, I didn't say goodbye properly. His voice cracked. Jungkook stepped closer. "Then say it now." That simple sentence changed the moment. J-Hope slowly knelt down. Taehyung stood quietly to his left. Jungkook to his right like silent guardians, making sure he didn't have to face this alone. And then J-Hope began to speak. Not loudly, not clearly, but enough. Enough for the wind to carry his words. Enough for his heart to finally release what it had been holding.